Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon, so you never miss any new updates, cause whenever we upload new videos.
Hi, so good evening to all of you, and again now I'm going to continue this session. So yes, any question from the last classes? Any questions from the last classes? Yes, please tell me what is your question. I think many of you are there. Okay, so all of you are listening, I think so. Fine. Okay, so any question? Yeah, Janvi, please tell me what is your question first. Okay, so first we will see today's question is like what questions from last class. In last class what we have discussed, once I'll write it down here in the what we have seen in the last class, which was the, you can say that is the day 5. Last class was the day 5. Okay, and remember one more thing, all these classes videos as I'm already uploading on the YouTube, so you can just go through all these YouTubes also, right? So okay, you can tell the specific doubt, Janvi. You can tell the specific doubt, what doubt you exactly are having. Okay, so in the last class what we have seen is we have started again is the control statements. We have started. In the control statements, I have just given some means you can say the different things we have seen with the conditional control statements. In the conditional control statements, what all different things are going to come in the conditional control statements? Number one, which was the if, and the second one is the switch. In this switch, okay, so okay, we have seen the if also, we have seen the switch also, and associated with if else and all others, many examples as I have given in your worksheets also, as well as the many other different things as I have given here, the number of examples we have seen into that. Okay, now in the switch also we have seen many things. I'll just give one again some important points about the switch. Important points about switch, or you can say that is the points to remember for the switch, or points to remember about switch. We just keep all these things in mind, what exactly these all points are and how it is going to work. So number one is first, in case of switch, all the cases whatever you are writing, are you getting my point? All the cases whatever you are writing must be constant. We cannot use any variables as in case. We cannot use any variables as an case numbers. Okay, it's a very, very important point. So it's a means next thing is in switch there are many different changes again into that. Okay, number one thing is in switch, there were some questions in the last class. In the switch, not necessary to write the default cases. We may or may not write default cases, default statements, you can say default statements. First one is we may or may not write the default statements if required. Okay. Anywhere where you can write the default statements. Okay. Anywhere you can write the default statements here. Fine. Next again, associated with this one here, that is anywhere we can write the default statement. It's not mandatory that we can write in the last or in the starting or somewhere. Anywhere we can write the default statement. Third thing is it mandatory to write break after each statement? No, not at all. No, not mandatory. You may write or you may not write it. It is your choice what kind of output you wanted to see. Okay. Now associated with this, which all different data types are allowed in switch. So I'll tell you, see, till or before, you can say, before JDK 1.5 byte short int and char is allowed here. Before JDK 1.5, right? Remember this point. Before JDK 1.5, byte short int and character is allowed. From JDK 1.5 onwards, enum is also allowed in switch here. Understand this. Enum is also allowed inside the switch from JDK 1.5 onwards. Getting my point? And more important is, and even you can see that here the enum which is there, we will discuss it later in the further classes we will discuss. So enum which is there, it's also a user defined data type which is introduced from JDK 1.5 that we will discuss later. Okay, we will discuss later. This is a it will take some time to discuss about that, right? And next one associated which no, you cannot pass the sorry, once again, what's your question? Can we pass the decimal numbers or special characters in a switch parameter? See, decimal numbers definitely you can pass in the switch, there is no problem, which comes under your already, as I have told here, that is the byte short int, that covers almost all the decimal. Now when we talk about the special characters, what he is asking, special characters are allowed or not in switch. I think that is your question, right? Okay. That's what I was also thinking, like why you are asking whether decimal number is allowed or not. Yes. First is, let me complete this. So special characters are allowed inside the switch or not? Yes, you can use special characters. You can use, but that you have to use through char data type itself, right? That you can use it, but that you will be using in the form of character. Yet the question next is, can we use float data type in switch? Question is, can we use float data type, or I mean to say that is the float, or something called as the double. Can we use it inside this? See here, you cannot use this float as well as the double as in the part of switch statements. No, we cannot write it here. We cannot use it. It's a very, very important questions it is actually. I have given again on the basis of that number of examples I have given. Any other question to anyone? Satya, do you have any question? Are you there? Fine. Okay. Any question now to anyone? Fine. If you don't have any questions, that's good. Next one inside this. Here, so this is what the switch, almost you can see, and again from JDK 1.7 string is also allowed in switch. String is also allowed inside the switch. So this is you can say small summary about the switch statements which I have given here, right? It's a switch statements, a default summary. I'll do one thing, just I'll save this folder on your batch, which is an online batch. Let's go to the E drive. Okay, E drive, online class it is, and in that online class core java.txt, yes, just remove it. Okay, so this is what about the different kinds of switch statements is there, and there are the different ways of writing the switch and all other sort of things that we have gone through that in a proper manner, right? If any questions you are getting again, any kind of doubts you are getting again, and any sort of any kind of thing, answer question you are getting, you can please ask. Okay, so hope so, no doubts, no questions. Now we are going for the next one, is the looping control statement. Looping, so here we will be discussing looping control statement. Okay, looping control statement. Here is the looping control statement which I'll be discussing right now. What all the different looping control statements are there? Let me explain you here. And first, why do we use looping control statements? Why do we use this looping control statement? First of all, I'll tell you why do we use the looping control statements. Looping control statements mostly we will use to perform some task repeatedly. We'll be using to perform some task repeatedly. I'm saying perform some task repeatedly based on certain conditions. Like till the time that condition is satisfying, right? Till the time that condition is satisfying, till then that corresponding statement has to be processed, and that's the reason we are using the looping control statement, and that was only the purpose for using the looping control statement. Hope you understand it. Okay, now in the next one here is that was the one looping control statement here what we were having. Apart from that, so there are different types of looping control statements. So one which is there, let's say we are having for loop. The second option is while loop we can have, and the third option is we are having, that is the do while loop we are going to have, right? So these all are the different kinds of looping control statements which we have at present. Fine. Now when I'm talking next to something else also, or something, so first we will understand what exactly looping control statements are. First we need to understand that it's a very, very important thing about the looping control statement. So let me explain you here what is the looping control statement. See, you guys are hope you are not having any questions. If anyone is having any kind of questions, or you are just sleeping here, all of you are there listening me properly or not? Okay, so you all are listening properly. Fine, that's good. So I'm talking about the for loop. Here, what exactly is the for loop is? See, I'm taking some time in the basics because it is required. So here first, syntax as I'm writing for the looping control statements. Let me write here the syntax first. For, in that. Initialization, the first one is the initialization. Condition check. Condition check we are writing here. Check some conditions, whatever you have given into that, and it's increment and something called as the decrement, depending on the conditions, whatever you are writing inside this. There could be a different kinds of statements, different kinds of processing which you can write it inside there. So that's the way we are writing inside this. Okay. Next one inside this. What do I need to do is the some statement you are writing here, some statement I have written here. Okay. What is the processing of this? How the for loop is going to be processed? And what's the importance, the different ways of processing the for loop is? The very first one, what we will see into that case, first case is the for loop. So first it initializes whatever the things, whatever we write, it is initializing first. Once the initialization is done, then it checks for the condition if the condition is satisfied. Getting my point? If the given initialization and based on that the condition is satisfied, then it will come into the given statement and then statement will be processed. Then again it will check the increment and decrement here. Based on the increment and decrement, again it is going to check the condition whether it is satisfying it or not. If I'm saying condition is satisfied, which means that if I'm saying something called as the condition is satisfied, which means that it is returning, see, satisfied and not satisfied means if it is satisfied it returns true. It returns true. If it is satisfied it returns true, whereas if it is not satisfied, it returns the false, right? So here it is something, the one is the true we are writing and the second one is the false. So if the condition satisfied, it returns true. If it is not satisfying, it will return the false. That's the two thing which is an important thing what we have here. Okay, let me write for example a very simple example as I'm writing into this. Let's say if I'm writing for loop. So int I is equal to 0, I is less than, let's say I'm writing 10, a very simple one I'm writing, and I plus plus I am writing here. Well, here this is one I have written into that, and it's something called as the system.out.println I'm writing. Now you have to understand one more point, that see, if you are not understanding what exactly system is, out is, println is, so no need to get tensed about all that. We will discuss it later on what exactly system out and println is. At present our main focus is just to understand this basic for loop itself, right? So see here, you can get it in the better manner and the clear idea you can get it. First we are performing the initializations, and whenever as I am performing initialization, and then it will check the condition. First, second thing, it is going to check the condition. See, it is going to check the condition itself. Once the condition satisfied here, the given condition which is there is satisfied here, then after satisfying the condition, once the given condition whatever we have is satisfied in this case, then it will process this it will process this statement. After processing this statement, again it will increment or decrement the corresponding one. Next one again is that it is going to check the condition. After checking the condition, again it will check the statement available inside this. So similarly it will keep on doing, and important thing is that the for loop means the initialization part which is there will be done only once, and only once it is going to be done. More than once this initialization part which is there will not be done at any point of time, at any cost here, right? So initialization will be done only once. It will check the condition. If the condition satisfied, if again I am saying that is the condition is satisfied, then the statement inside that will be processed, and if the condition is not satisfied, then the statement given inside that which is there will not be processed, right? So that is what the important thing which you are having into this. Now I'll be writing one example, a basic example which I wanted to write here, and some of the examples I'll be writing one by one what exactly it is. Let's see that here, or let's understand it here. I'm just opening the notepad. One more notepad I am writing. So see, first here is, let me write it, one class I am writing, something called as the class JDBC you are writing into this. And once you are writing the class JDBC into this, what it is, batches, something called as the 50, it's an online class. We have something called as the online class, okay. In the online class what we have, okay, now this is the online class what we are having. Okay, so online class which I am having here, okay. So let's say here the 8th program which we are writing into that, here we are writing public static void main into this string of arg I am writing. This is a very simple one I am writing. Again you can use in or write this all things into the J shell here. Now the very important one what I just wanted to write here, the for loop I am writing. Int I is equal to 0, I is less than, let's say 10, and I plus plus. Hana? Next one here, into that I am writing, that is the I am writing into this, right? Here I have written the I into this. Here into that JDBC 8 I am writing. And after writing the JDBC 8 now, I have just saved this program, correct? Now here I have saved this program, fine. When I have saved this program and into this, I am compiling this program, and the later on into this, here I am just writing something called as the E drive CD. Here I am writing into that Java C which I am writing. What is that I am writing? Java C, JDBC, which one now? It's an 8 I am going to write it into this. Java C, JDBC 8 I am writing here. Okay, well compilation is done. And it's JDBC 8. We are getting some kind of output. So it is printing from where? From 0 to 10 it is printing it one by one. Okay, so less than 10 it is going to print in that manner. What happened in this case here? This is the statement which is there, has been processed once. Okay, now hope you understand it. So the first, it is checking condition, first initializing it, checking condition, and then processing the statement, and the third one is incrementing it. From second time onwards, again it is just checking the condition, processing the statement, and again it is incrementing. This loop which is there, keep on repeatedly it is doing it here. Okay, it is keep on doing it inside this. This is what the particular loop which is there inside this, that's what we need it inside this. Okay, now the next one, what do we need here, and something what we are trying to do here. Understand it here. Inside this now, I am writing here for loop. In this case, let's say, I'm just writing something different. Int I is equal to 0, initialization part. Let's say here, I'm writing some more things here. And let's say I is less than 10, and I'm writing here that is the I plus plus. here, as again I'm writing I. So I'm just printing it, I'm just processing it, okay? So see, this is also one way where and how we can write the different statements inside this, right? And if this kind of statements we are writing, so the first question is, can I write it? Yes, of course we can write it. Because the initialization part we have done separately in compared to the for loop, which I am not writing in the case of for loop. Here I'm just checking the I is less than 10 and something like that. So that's what I'm doing here. And it is that this is also the having the same as like the processing like the previous one into this case, okay? Now the next one here again, what I can write it here to you, or else I'll do one thing, I'll just compile it to you and I'll show it. This is how it is working, okay? So there is no difference in the output. Now even we remove this increment and decrement operators from here. Yes, we can easily do this. There is no problem at all. Even you will not get a single difference in its output also. Here you can see that this is what we are getting it inside this case. Next one here. Inside this something I have written into this, okay? Here what I want is, let's say int of I is equal to, I'm writing something called as the, maybe something different I'm writing or something else as I'm going to write here. So the first what I can do here is, or what I can write here is, suppose int of again I is equal to 10 I am writing. Well, now next one which is there is, I'm trying to write something different here. So for loop I am writing int, and instead of this here, system.out.println, and the println which I am writing I, then again instead of this I'm just writing the condition, and I plus plus here I'm writing. My question to you all is, or instead of this again, can I write here the system.out. something called as the println, and inside this writing here the I, there also I have written here the I, and in this one particularly, what is that I'm going to write is the I have just printing here. And okay, this is how I have written this for loop. Okay, tell me, all of you can tell me that whether it is allowed or not. The one which I am writing it, is it allowed or not? Can we write like this? Can we write like this or not? You can mute, you can unmute your mic and you can speak out also, guys. No issues. You can speak out. Satya, tell me whether we can write it or not. And tell me even reason also why we cannot write it. We have already incremented it, if you can understand it here. So this is what I have done it already. Okay, let's do one thing. Okay, anything else? Yeah, Janvi, you tell me. Can we write it? Okay. Okay, so I'm just doing here, you see that here what I'm doing. I'm compiling it and there is no compilation error, and lastly we are able to write it here, and you guys see the output how it is coming. Are you able to see the output? Are you guys able to see the different outputs whatever we have at present? No. and it is coming here. There's no problem. See, the mandatory condition here is that at the place of this conditional statement itself, you cannot write anything else other than this really expression, right? You cannot write anything else other than this particular conditional expressions. You cannot write anything else. But apart from that, for the initialization and the increment and decrement statements, you can write some kind of statements. There is no problem at all. There won't be any issue at all, right? Okay. What is the next which I am trying to do, or I'll be trying to process here, that what you have to do is, you understand that first, okay? I'll do one thing. I'm writing one more thing here. That's the important one which I'll be writing to you. Okay, you guys all just tell me what output we are just going to expect from you. See, I'm just giving you something to practice more and more in the case of for loop and all other things, right? So hope you all are enjoying it. Okay, let's say I'm writing here, let's say int j is equal to something called as the 0 I'm writing. Okay, well, now for int I is equal to 0 I'm writing, I is less than 10 I'm writing, and I plus plus I'm writing. Okay, see, is it mandatory to write curly braces after the for loop, or can't we write like this only? Here itself I'm writing okay, we'll do one more thing. So j is equal to j plus plus I'm writing, and if I am trying to print here the output here, what output we will be expecting? It's a simple one, right? You can tell me what output you are expecting in this case. Okay, so this is what the thing which I have written here. Okay, so out of this, what output you are expecting in this? It's a very simple one. Yeah, can you just in chat box you can write down what outputs you are all expecting? I'm expecting from everyone. Yeah, come on, fast write it. Ten, Arman, 10. Okay, anyone else, anything? I want answers from all. Zero, okay. Okay, fine. So here I'm just now compiling these all things. Here I'm just doing the compilation of the program, and it's in JTC 8 something I have written here. You can see that it is giving 0. Zanvi's was okay, she was correct. Can you explain how it is? Okay, no need to explain. See here, it was something. Okay, next one what I'm expecting is, suppose I'm just removing it. See, all these whatever the changes and whatever the expressions changes I'm doing it, just you at your end keep on thinking about that, like how it is working. And I want reason from everyone in the tomorrow's class. When you are coming for the tomorrow class, you have to be ready for all that, right? Okay, so here you see it's a 0. Now you tell me what output you are going to, what your outputs you guys are expecting here. You see that outputs now, it is going to be entirely surprising outputs as compared to the previous one. So I'm not going to explain. It's a 10, the same statement, that it is a 0, right? So it is the entirely different thing what we have written in this. And this is what the different types of output which we might be expecting into this case, right? So any questions to anyone? And even I'm thinking, okay, let me write one more. Shall I write one more example for this for loop? I'm not explaining the reason why it is. I want from everyone I want answers from everyone tomorrow. Think over this and let me know why these outputs are coming like this. And whenever you are attending these classes, make sure that you have the pen and notebook with you. Whatever things as I'm saying, keep on noting it down. Okay, please note it down. Then only it is going to help you at all. Now let's say I'm writing one more for loop. I'm just writing one more for loop. Okay, what for loop I'm writing? See here, I'm writing the for loop. Okay, in this particular for loop, int I is equal to 0. Can I write it? Okay, now I'm trying to write int j is equal to 0, which means that in the initialization one, I am initializing the two different, and one more I am writing here, which is a char of, let's say char of something called as the anything we can write it here. So the char of here I am writing that is the a. I am writing it here like this. Can I write it first? Now here the conditional part is there. Okay, so in conditional part, let's say I am writing I is less than something called as the 5 or 10 something, whatever you want you can write it, and then I plus plus, it's an incremental positions, and again I am writing which is the j which is there, j minus is equal to something called as the 5. I am writing, fine, I am writing here that is the 5, something like this. And what is next as I am going to do here is something called as the ch plus plus as I am writing inside this. Okay, can I write it or not? Can I write like this kind of things? Okay, I was asking one question, that is it mandatory to write here the curly braces? See, if you are not writing curly braces, then only one line, and that is to immediate line, will be considered inside the for loop. Only one line only is going to be considered inside the for loop, or else other than that any other lines which is there will not be considered under the for loop. Baki ke lines, the remaining lines which is there will not be considered under the for loop. But if here you are writing the for loop by specifying the curly braces here, then all of them are going to be considered inside that particular for loop itself. Okay, so here also, as now I am just going to print it, and even I am expecting something outputs from all of you, that can we write it easily or not it. Here see that I'm just printing here, so I something plus, in that case I'm writing here the tab. I'm just giving so that we can find out the what exactly the output we are going to get here. In that case j plus, inside this again I'll be writing some tab, and what next as I'm going to write here is the plus something called as the ch, again I'm writing here. So I just want output from everyone. Can we write it or not? See, I have done the number of initializations. One question, that have you studied anywhere that it is mandatory to or have you studied anywhere that it is mandatory to write what? Is it mandatory to write only one initialization statements, or we can write multiple initialization statements which won't be creating any kind of problem into that? Yeah. No answers. Okay, fine. You guys are not answering anything. Only one. Okay. Anything else? Here, see that I'm just practicing. I'm just writing here. You see that there are the number of errors which is there. You are getting into this. Okay. Yes. Here, what is there, like what output we were about to get it inside this. See that here. What's the important thing into that? And what exactly the errors which we are getting here. You can understand what errors we are getting exactly into this case. Okay. The errors what I am just about to get here is something called as the errors what we are getting. It's a very simple one, and it's nothing to care of something called as the ch. I haven't declared the variable called as the ch into that case, and now again I am just compiling. You see, these all are common mistakes which will happen with everyone. Okay, Now what is the again, what problem is there again into the ch plus plus something? We are trying to write it inside this. Okay, so just let's see that what again is the problem is inside that char of ch1. Okay, so it is int of I, find j is equal to 0, char of ch1, and again that is the I is less than 10 and something j which is there, and the different one what I'm trying to write is the something called as the ch plus plus I'm writing here. Okay, so this is what a very simple one I'm writing here. Okay, and again I'm trying to print it inside this case. So here can we write like this? Here see, we are getting some errors and we need to understand what kind of error it is initially. Int identifiers. Okay. What I'll do is I'll do one more thing here. Instead of declarations I, here I am writing I which is equal to 0. Again int of j is equal to 0. Understand here. So I am writing just the different kinds of cases here. Char of ch is equal to 0, and once this declarations as I have done, so okay, I'm just checking whether I am doing some mistakes here. Okay, no, in general I am not doing it. Then even though why we are getting, okay, done now. See here, and again I am writing JTC 8 here. You see that what values we are getting it inside this. Okay, so in the initialization parts here, this is how we can write, and that's what I was trying to show you, which is a very important thing. See, when I was writing and when I was doing the same declarations inside this, it was not allowed, whereas I have written it separately and then I'm using it inside this. So this is allowed at all. This is allowed clearly inside this. So see, this session which I have given is the completely about the, you can say that is the for loop. It is, and it's an very important one. I have given many of the different concepts. Okay, we can use one more concept called as the labeled for loop. What is that? It's a labeled for loop. So what I am expecting from you all, that practice from the workbooks again, and like this I have given many examples in your documents and the different workbooks and all other sort of things here. And similarly here, that is the while loop is also there. Okay, so before discussing the while loop, here I am explaining that is the I'm explaining here, what is that? I'm explaining the for each loop. I am explaining, right? What is the for each loop here into this? What is the for each loop? Introduced from JDK 1.5. It is introduced from JDK 1.5. Fine. Enhanced for loop. And especially for each loop or enhanced for loop. Enhanced for loop is used to access the array or collections very easily. We can access it very easily. For example, I am writing some syntax for this particular loop. Here I am writing some of the statements here. I am writing it here. For example, for here is the data type. I am writing data type colon array name. I am writing here array name. I am writing data type and then the array name I am writing inside this. Okay, inside this now system.out.println, which I am writing, and which was the type here, that's the data type and the variable which you wanted to display into this. like variable I am writing here. So that's we are trying to traverse from here. Again I am writing something here. Okay, this is done something. For example, I am writing what is next I am going to write here is the simple I. Say here one array as I am trying to declare. One array int of a colon is equal to something 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4 5 5 6 6. We have declared some array inside this. Fine, I have declared this array. Now int of I colon a which I am writing, and inside this now I am writing some more things also here. Here I am trying to traverse it here. This is the enhanced for loop, remember it here. And then I am printing here the I. What is the important thing you need to understand here? This I which is there must be having the same data as data type as the which is the I which is a variable I must be having the same data type as the array data type. It must be having the same data type as the array data type, which means that if it is the int type of array, then the variable which is going to traverse through the array A must be the type of int itself. And this must be the type of int itself. Remember that point. It must be the type of int itself. Here, it must be the something called as the type of int itself into this. Now, here and similarly you can access into the form of collections also. So here I which is going to traverse from the A. Let's say write a basic example for this. I'll just write it here, class. And more we will be discussing here, that is into this I am writing here the public static void main string of something called as the arg I am writing. Here I am writing int I, say int a is equal to, in that 1 1 2 2 3 3 and something called as the 4 4 I am writing. For inside this int of I colon a I am writing. Here now into this what I just wanted to write here is the I am trying to write it inside this. JTC 9 something I am writing dot Java I'll be writing here, and I am saving this program again. Okay. Now inside this the many important things which we need to understand at present is the Java C JTC 9 dot Java. Here I am writing it. Okay, let me check once. Public static something I am writing, that is the public static void main. Inside this I have written something like this. Okay, and whenever as I have written here the public static void main and something like this, so I am now trying to compile it here, and after compilation JTC something called as the 8 I am writing inside this. We got the output here, sorry, not 8 9, what was that, 9. Okay, let's compile this program. JTC 9 dot Java C JTC 9 dot Java. I am writing it here. So Java JTC 9 we are getting it here, and this is what I am going to write it inside this. We are getting the output here, and see here this is how I am accessing here. Remember, if maybe we are accessing the string kind of data types, so if string s is equal to, in that a next one which is there is the something called as the BBB, and again which is there, that is the I'm writing that is here CCC I'm writing here. Okay, so for that what I wanted to write here is the string of S1 colon S. I am going to write it here. Okay, and inside this println of S1 I am going to write it here. See, so if it is the string type of array which I am trying to access, so the for loop or the variable you are initializing to access it from the S, it must be also the same type as like the string type, and that is what I have done again in this case. See here, this is what we got the output. Fine it is. This is what exactly we got the output here in this. Okay. So from the for loop, hope so we have discussed a lot, and again if you are getting any kind of doubts and anything it is there into that, you can please ask, and you can ask the questions depending on that for loop and all things. Okay. So any question from the for loop? Any question from the for loop? Anything? So here I am writing for loop completed. Okay, well. And similarly there is the while loop also. While in that some condition you are writing, I am expecting that you all will check it by your own. While loop you are writing here. Some statements you are writing, and after writing this some statement, increment and decrement you are writing inside this. So this is where, whereas so in the case of while loop, first it will check the condition and then process the statement and then increment and decrement, whereas do, what I am writing is the do statement I am writing while I am writing some condition as I have given into this, and increment slash decr, increment and slash decrement. So you just go through that notes which I have already given it. If in that also you are getting any questions, again we will discuss while loop also. Tomorrow we will discuss the while loop. So any question to anyone now? No. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Again, this session, Satya and all will be uploaded on the YouTube. I think already I have given the links to all of you. You can again go through that if any kind of doubt, any kind of questions you are getting. Okay, thank you.